Okay, we're going live right now on YouTube. Okay, let me start pinning the press releases that I found the press release that they put out. I really liked it. If I did that press release, I would add more to it, but I liked it, so I'm going to share that. And they had a lot of media given to them, so I'm going to go ahead and share that too. And let me reach out to Geno. Did you reach out to Miguel? Because he just followed me. I follow him back. Okay, I went ahead and retweeted out to space. So, and I'm sharing this to my followers. Hold on 2 seconds. Good afternoon, Geno. How are you?
I'm great. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How do I sound? Because the co-host feature on Spaces sounds terrible. And hi, Miguel. Let's get Miguel up here. Hi, Geno. I'm going to go ahead and run my other recording.
Mihai should be popping in here and beaming everybody in a few seconds. So this is our first film festival since our merger with Beam. I'm excited.
Yeah, I like their app.
They're the future, man. They're the future. What's going on, Miguel?
Hi, Miguel.
Hello, GM everyone. How's it going?
GM.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem, brother. Our pleasure. Give us 1 second. All right, it's 12:03. I guess we could get started. Everybody will start popping in here soon. Miguel, the man of the hour, brother.
Hey,
Doing
how's
big.
it going?
All right, doing big things with Caladita.
Thank you. Yeah, we're trying to pave the way. So we're excited to be here with you and tell you our story.
So the first film, financed completely by NFTs. That's huge, man.
We are actually the second, as far as I
The
know,
second.
in terms of fiction films. Yeah, Julie Pacino did her film a couple of months ago, Keepers of the Inn. But yeah, there's been other documentaries before, but in terms of fiction films, those are the only ones that I've been able to find.
Wow. So, what gave you the idea to do that? Like, you said Julie was the first. What inspired you to say, "Hey, let's go this route as well"?
Before we start, can we give Miguel tell us, a little bit about himself? Because I'm actually, I'm looking at you. You got Miguel. You have a lot of media written up about your project, so that's what I'm excited about too. But can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, and how long have you been a filmmaker, and And then, as Geno was saying, what inspired you? But we'd love to hear more about you as a filmmaker and a writer.
Sure, yeah. So I'm a filmmaker from Barcelona. I'm 29. I live in London, and I, that's where I studied film in London. And since then, I've been making short films. Now I'm working on my first feature film, Caladita, which is actually an expansion of my last short film that I made in 2019. And yeah, also been in Web3 for a little over a year now, since February 21. And have been like many of us went down the rabbit hole when I discovered NFTs and everything that they made possible. And yeah, I've been very fortunate with that. I'm very excited to be pioneering the way for film in the NFT ecosystem.
I read that you were so into it just after 3 weeks of reading about the NFT Bible. You went and got yourself a crypto punk. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, very crazy. But yeah, I was just convinced very quickly that Web3 was the future, because as creators we've been very screwed. I don't know how to put it better. Sorry, but we've been screwed by the internet for so long that I knew that this was a great solution to a lot of these problems of intermediaries becoming huge and taking most of the value back from creators.
Wow, you grabbed the crypto punk. That was in the beginning before they set up.
No, I hope the begin. I wish the beginning was in 2017. I got mine in 2021. Then again, maybe if I had gotten it in the beginning for free, I wouldn't have held this long. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Oh man, wow.
So, and you
That's
spent
quite
all
a-
your full savings, right, to just to purchase this because you believed in it so much.
Yeah, I mean, not all of them, but an important part of my savings. Yeah,
Well, you invested in yourself.
yeah. I'm not sure. I wouldn't recommend that strategy to anyone. I don't think it was. It was pretty crazy, but I don't know. I had this intuition and this conviction, and Web3 has become a huge part of my life and the life of all of us. So there was something there, I guess.
And when you were a child, did you want to be a filmmaker? Was this something that you were very passionate in?
Yeah, not as a child, but as a teenager for sure. It was after watching Pulp Fiction that I fell in love with cinema. But like, I really liked the film. But what made me fall in love with film as a medium was that through Pulp Fiction I discovered Tarantino's signatures as an author, like those kind of things that he always does, like bare feet of women or like whatever it is. And that's what led me to understand when I was like 15 or so what a director was, in the sense that the director is the creative, like owner of a film, and that in that sense is similar to a writer or a painter or any other artist that's creating a work of art. And I had never understood that. And once I that clicked for me, then I fell in love with the idea that you could, make movies the way that you dreamt of, and whatever you dreamt of, you could make it into a movie. And that sounded very exciting to me because I had always had an artistic inclination. But I guess all the arts that I had kind of toyed around with previously felt a lot more limited than film did when I discovered it.
So, how many films have you done? Could you go over your complete filmography with us?
Yeah. I mean, like, it's weird, no, with short filmmakers. Like, my official filmography, I would say is two short films, because I've made a ton of short films, but that I wouldn't show you guys or anyone. So my official filmography is two short films. One I made in 2017 called The Little Don Quixote, which it's premiered at a festival here in Spain called Sitges Film Festival, which is quite famous for fantastic and genre films. And it won the biggest award in that festival, so that was a very good like start of my journey as a short film director in terms of like short films that actually go places and stuff. And then I made Caladita, and that would be my second short film. And again, like it's I think short filmmakers always have to parallel filmographies. No, I'm sure Geno can agree probably.
Awesome. And what inspired you to create and write Caladita?
So the initial inspiration, so I made the other short film, the Don Quixote, is a period short film about a director who's trying to adapt Don Quixote, the big Spanish novel, into cinema, and there is a whole history of Don Quixote being impossible to adapt and many failing at attempting it. Orson Welles famously spent like 30 years at it, and then more recently Terry Gilliam also had many misfortunes trying to accomplish that project. So the short film delves around that, and I don't want to go into too much detail, but let's just say it's like a period short film. It's black and white, it's all interiors, so it's kind of not claustrophobic, but almost, right? So as my following short film, which was Calladita, I wanted to make a summer film that was very vibrant with color, and I wanted to make it in like the environment where I grew up in, near Barcelona, in the coast, in the summer, etc. And I wanted to portray the world kind of where I grew up, of the, let's say, the bourgeois world of Barcelona. And so I started researching the idea and working on that, and I realized that the domestic worker, because a lot of these families have domestic workers at home, was a perfect protagonist for that story, because to me, because she's at the center of the world, of this environment, but she doesn't belong. So she's not usually portrayed as a protagonist, and also she knows everything, she hears everything, listens to sees everything, but isn't participating, and so she's able to judge from a distance, and she's almost like a spy, or in my case, like a camera. So that's why I thought that she would be the perfect medium to tell the story. And then after I decided that, I interviewed a lot of domestic workers, and I learned a lot from their stories and their experiences, and started like what started as a story, like a satirical take on the bourgeois through the eyes of the domestic worker, ended up being more of a character study of the domestic worker, and also that other side of the satire of class difference, but both at the same time, I would say.
Cinematography is great. Like, it's so well shot. Did such a great job on that, man.
Thank you. Had a great team.
Yeah, very, very, very impressive. Just from what I'm able to see in the trailer, you guys are doing an awesome job. Like all of you, the NFT filmmakers. She Crypto did a great job on her film that screened on Beam last night. You guys inspire me so much. It's awesome. So you're from Barcelona?
Yep.
So I want to also ask you more about because like I did a whole search on you. I'm posting a lot of the news because you're. I'm loving researching you, by the way. But you have Emily Mortimer and Jim Cummings, board pioneering European crypto funded feature Caladita exclusive. I just found this on Yahoo Entertainment. I'm going to share this and pin it to the nest. Tell us about that. I want to know, how did you get involved with them?
But maybe you can share it on the origin, because that's like a repost. The original article was on Variety, and maybe you can share that one better.
It's in Variety. Let me look for it in Variety. I'll be right back.
Variety, yeah. So what was the question? How they got involved? So
yeah, like how did they get connected with you?
Yeah, sure. Jim Cummings is an executive producer in the film, and he got involved because Jim and Ben Wisner, essentially his producer, run this thing called the Short to Feature Lab that they've done 3 years in a row now, where, because as you know, they've been super successful at jumping from a career in indie short films to a career in indie feature films, and also pioneering very innovative ways to make their films and get them seen and everything. They've always had this spirit of relentless independence, so they wanted to kind of pass that on to the next generation and kind of explain what they've done, etc. So they run this lab where they take short film submissions and they select a few and invite. So I was one of the participants in 2020. I think they got like, I don't know, 100 or like 500 or 400 short films, and they selected 8 of us to go out there for a week in LA and kind of incubate our projects, and they've been very helpful since then. And yeah, they're great. And the other part, Emily Mortimer is funny. Her story, actually. I was a floor runner at a film here in Spain in 2015, maybe, or 16. I forget. It was a Spanish film called the Bookshop, and Emily Mortimer was the protagonist. And so I was a floor runner, so I was in charge of bringing her water and stuff. But we developed a relationship. We became kind of friends. Like, we were talking a lot about cinema and about the films that she's been part of and directors and stuff. And she saw that I was a big cinephile, and she is also a very big cinephile. She just wrote and directed an amazing miniseries for Amazon, and so she's now turned into a writer director as well. And yeah, we stayed in touch over the years. We've seen each other a few times in London when she was in London, and I presented the story to her, and she loved it, and she wanted to be a part of it, and she loves the short film. So yeah, I'm excited to work with her. Also, it's interesting that so she's the only English speaking actor in the film, because the character of the mother of the rich family is an expat. So she's British, and I like that idea of her being a first-class immigrant as opposed to the domestic worker who's a second-class immigrant, or like, I mean, and of course I'm saying this in an ironic way, but you know what I mean, right? Like where the Brit expat, even the word, right? One is called an expat and the other is called an immigrant, so you can already sense that there is a contrast there and an injustice already in the language. And also the idea of language is important in the film as well, because Calladita means quiet, but in a derogatory and feminine sense. So it's kind of it's a sexist term used. Well, not necessarily, because the term is just an adjective, but it's used in a way that it's sexist to say things like, for example, there's a saying that says "Calladita estás más bonita," which means you are more beautiful when you are quiet, which of course is a very sexist thing to say to a woman, and that's the reason of the title, is to do an ironic play on the expectations of women to be quiet and submissive and passive, and especially a domestic worker, who is like the biggest epitome of that, probably, right? And so the film kind of turns that around. But I derail. I was saying that language is important in the film because the family speak English, because the mother is British. They speak English whenever they don't want Anna, the protagonist, to understand what they're saying. So there's a play on polygloty and quietness in the title, etc.
Wow, yeah, this is, I'm a refugee, so I understand what you're like. I have empathy, like I totally understand. Like now I've been following a lot about the domestic workers in Hong Kong, for example. They're being treated like not horrific. So I feel like your film really resonate and also bring awareness about this kind of class issues, because everyone should be treated the way you want to be treated. You treat people good, because then, and I feel that a lot of time it's not like that, and it's so good that you're sharing this type of story.
Yeah, thank you. It's funny because the political implications of the film are definitely interesting, and people sometimes ask me like, "What's the message?" And I say, if I wanted to make a message, I would be a politician. As artists, we ask questions and we investigate reality rather than write a pamphlet of what our vision is very clearly. Because if to me, that's not the way it works, at least in my experience. So then I've strived a lot in the story and in the script to portray the rich family with as little disdain as possible, and to have the criticism be a lot more about the societal issues than about the personal. So because what I mean is that if the family are terrible to the domestic worker and they are just horrible people, then that doesn't say anything about the world we live in, right? Because they're just horrible, and there's horrible people everywhere. But to me, the point goes farther than that. I think the point is that even if you are super nice to your domestic worker, the fact that you are sunbathing in the pool with a cocktail in your hand while someone is cleaning your underwear and sweating at 40 degrees Celsius, that's already kind of wrong. And it's not your fault. It doesn't mean that you are horrible, but it's wrong. And there's a contrast and an injustice there that can be highlighted by cinema, and hopefully we as a society get better. And COVID was great at highlighting these issues as well, because I remember at the start of the pandemic, when only essential workers were allowed to go to work, and you could, and then there was the whole debate, like what does it mean to be an essential worker, right? Because a nurse is an essential worker, a bus driver is essential, but they are so mistreated in terms of salary and even social equity, right? Whether maybe an investment banker is not essential for the society to function, right?
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I'm gonna be upfront with you. I used to I clean my own house, but I used when I had at my other house, my husband get mad at me because I like to clean with my maid. She's not my maid. She was like I just like she was. I hired her, I helped her, but then I clean with her. So it was kind of so funny that you say that. And then my friends would wonder why I would do that, and I was like, well, I don't know. It's nice. I like to clean my own house too, but it's nice to have someone help you, and if you do it together, it gets it done quicker, and it just is a good way to bond with somebody. That's how I feel. So my friends would think it was kind of weird, but I think from my upbringing and where I came from, we just didn't see. I don't see myself sitting there and watching someone clean in front of me. I just never I was never into it. I'm more of like the person if they're cleaning, I'm cleaning right next to them, even though I'm paying them. But I wanted to. It's always been my thing, and that's so every single person I hired to work with me, I always ask them, like, I hope you don't mind I clean with you. So it's kind of like a team effort. So I understand what you're saying about the different class level and how people are treated in different ways. So I totally understand that. So with Calladita's film, you guys, you're still in you're minting right now, right? Am I correct?
Yes, we are very much minting on our mint website that I pinned up there before. It's Caladita.film. And yeah, we are very happy because we've already raised over $230,000. So that's very huge for an indie film like ours from Spain, and with no, me personally being kind of nobody before this, like no kind of a famous name or anything. Yeah, so we're very happy, and we've also sold out the highest tier of the collection, which was 6E, and there were 5 available, and we sold all of them to big collectors in the space. And we're super excited as well with the whole support that we've been receiving from the CryptoPunk community lately, which has been huge. Super grateful to that. I say that CryptoPunks are the OG Web3 native people mostly, and I'm very honored and grateful and excited to see that they are getting behind this project and this idea that cinema NFTs are a great use case, because like OG people are more prone to valuing innovation and new things in the space. So it makes me bullish on film NFTs in general.
Yeah, that's what I can say about the NFT community. We have a very tight knit. I think that's what separates a lot of us, a lot of different types of industry, as you want to call it, or different niche. I just feel like the NFT community itself are so heartwarming. I mean, we have the good, the bad, and the ugly, but overall, the community itself, once you form it, it's wonderful, and they're always there for you. So yeah, you're so true about that. And would you mind if I asked you how much you snagged CryptoPunk for? Just kidding. And how much is it today?
So how much I bought it for?
Yeah. And then how much is it today? Like I know they're outrageous, right? Aren't they expensive?
I have no price because nobody's offering and I'm not selling. But I paid 16 ETH at the time, and I guess the floor today is around 70 ETH. But I don't really follow it that closely. Mm.
Wow.
I'm not planning on selling soon.
Yeah, I'm like that with my. I'm collecting NFT because I've been promoting NFT since February of last year. So people give me their NFT, so I hang on to it and I wear it. You know, I actually plug my wallet into because I got Twitter Blue, so I change it and stuff. So, oh, my good friend Andrew is here. Hi, Andrew.
I also want to say what's up to Sister Alchemy. She crypto's back in here. So you sold out of all of your all of the NFTs. Was it difficult? Because for some people that start NFT collections, it's quite difficult for them to sell that first NFT.
Well, we didn't sell out the whole collection. We just sold out the highest tier of the collection. That is what 6 ETH, and there were 5 NFTs in those. But in total we have 2,400 NFTs, and we are not close to sell out in general of the collection. But yeah, I mean, we've been going for 3 weeks, and we've been super excited with the support of the community. We never expected to sell out in a couple of days, like some people might have expected, because this is a very innovative and ambitious thing that we're doing. It's very different to a PFP project or anything like that. It's literally me as an artist selling my work in order to fund future work. So it's a lot harder, and having sold $230,000 of my work in 3 weeks is incredible. And did I find it hard? Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've been working super hard for many months. It's not easy at all. It's not something that a filmmaker could come in here and just do it very, like, without effort and without work and without putting himself out there, etc. But again, super grateful, and we do it because we love it. So it's it's not work if you love it, kind of.
I was wanting to ask you earlier, did you go to film school?
Yes, I went to film school in London at the London Film School. That's where I made both of those short films that I was, like the Don Quixote and Calladita. Calladita was my thesis film in the London Film School. But the way it works there is that thesis films the school doesn't get involved. Like, basically they waive part of the tuition of the semester, and they call that their investment in the film. And then you basically go out for a year and you come back with a film. So Caladita was made professionally in that sense. Like we crowdfunded 25,000 euros, and everyone was paid, the actors, the crew, and it was a professional crew and cast and everything. So it's kind of like a thesis film of a film school, but it's not really a school film, if you will.
That's awesome. So would you advise filmmakers to go through film school and go through that process?
I mean, me personally, yes, but it's. I guess this is similar to financial advice, right? Artistic advice is also very hard. To each their own, and different structure, different folks. I guess I am not nearly as talented enough as that I would be able to make the films I make without having been to film school. But to me, I learned most of the technique before film school by making films with my friends, but also especially watching a lot of films and studying films very closely. But the practical side, you really need, in my opinion, or at least in my experience, I really needed those years of film school where I got to try things and fail and had a crew and equipment and time to make those mistakes and make those experimentations, etc. If you don't have that, it might be a lot harder. But again, these days with iPhones, etc., kids go out there and make amazing short films with no film school. So I can't give any advice like that is general to everyone. I do think kind of that sometimes this is very big successful filmmakers like PTA or like Tarantino, who always swear off film school and say, don't waste your money, don't go to film school, it's terrible. That's kind of a bit of misleading as well, in my opinion, because those guys were geniuses when they were teens, and that's very rare, right? So some other filmmakers have become great filmmakers because they went to film school and they learned their craft.
Absolutely. There are a lot of dope people that have went to film school and went on to make amazing films, and on the other side of that, there are people that didn't go to film school. So I guess it's depends on the person. As a Web3 filmmaker, NFT filmmaker, are you looking to get into any type of VR, virtual reality or VR filmmaking?
It's an interesting question. Me personally, I'm not very excited by it, to be honest. I think people, like for me, the best case scenario is cinemas come back and everyone's going to the cinema, and because for me personally, as a viewer and a lover of cinema, that's what I like. I like to go to sit in the dark room and watch a film in a screen that is huge, and be submerged and not be able to look at my phone and have this amazing sound. So that's to me the experience, and that's that when I make films, I think of that experience. But then, of course, we know that a lot of our content is now consumed in a very different way, and that's fine. But I kind of resist as a kind of a resistant, a countercultural something. And then VR is of course the extension of that, which is interesting, but I'm not particularly seduced by it. And especially I think what we're lacking in VR is real artistic innovators, as far as everything that I've seen, and not specifically VR, but like even 3D and kind of this kind of technological innovations that have come in the past few years. There hasn't been filmmakers who have made use of those in ways that are innovative enough that they would kind of open up a new art. I don't know if I'm explaining myself correctly, but when cinema was invented in the turn of the century, the heroes to me aren't the Lumieres or the Edisons that invented the cameras. The heroes are the filmmakers that invented the language and that developed that into a full art form. Because the Lumieres didn't believe in cinema; they thought it would just be a thing for the circus. It was just a funny little thing that would be kind of in circus and people would have fun for 3 minutes. They didn't even conceive that there could be a 2-hour movie and people would sit and go on a journey and it would be the biggest art form of the 20th century. So I think that's what we need. We need founding artists who will, kind of develop the language of this new art form if it's going to succeed.
Your answers parallel to what Jay Makowski, he's the film archivist for Francis Ford Coppola. We interviewed him last week, and he's not opposed to it, but he says we need to save the actual experience of cinema, the going to the theater and stuff like that. He's definitely not opposed to VR, but my opinion, I'm definitely not opposed to it either. But there has to be that one filmmaker that does something groundbreaking within the VR scene that that would attract everybody else to making more VR films. So, but I'm definitely excited for where it's going.
It's funny because like most things, like artistically and film language wise, most things that you can see in Calladita, that I'm gonna do in Calladita feature, and that we see in any film, were invented in the 20s, 30s. Some of them maybe in the 60s, but that's kind of it, right? So So yeah, I agree. We need the artistic innovation because like otherwise, we're gonna. It's very difficult to develop the art form, and even cinema is very complacent in that. And I mean, I'm a part of the problem, not of the solution, because I'm not out here making avant-garde films that nobody will understand because they're ahead of their time. But you know, classic filmmaking is also great, and it's a way to connect with people and tell stories. So it's fantastic too.
One more thing. Speaking about the future of filmmaking and VR films and stuff like that, where do you see film and NFT film? Where do you see it going within the next 10 to 15 years?
I mean, I can speak more to where I see Web3 film going in the next 10 years than to where I see VR, etc. Because again, I'm no expert at all in VR and everything related to that part of the advancement. But in terms of Web3,
NFT film.
yeah, in terms of NFT films, I think it's gonna be huge. I think it's gonna revolutionize all aspects of the industry, and so we're gonna see that going many directions. Like one, Caladita embodies one of the directions that we're gonna see that, which is funding for independent films, but not only for independent films. We're gonna see proper industry films be funded this way, either by incumbents or by new players. But you know, because I'm a new player, but I'm a new indie player. I'm not trying to take anyone's seat at the table. I'm not trying to challenge any studio because my film is tiny, right? But we're already seeing moves of people who want to raise huge amounts of capital to make huge films via NFTs, and I think that trend's gonna continue. And some will fail, some will succeed, but in general, Web3 is going to provide huge opportunities to decentralize the decision making of funding films, and it's going to provide a more diverse ecosystem and cinema because more filmmakers are going to be able to greenlight themselves. But then, of course, also distribution is going to be hugely disrupted, in my opinion, by blockchain technology, and we're already seeing players there as well. So I guess you know the next Netflix is going to be Web3 native for sure. And then another thing is we're also gonna see a lot of filmmakers, I think, turn or start using more short form, because short form content NFTs are gonna become quite significant as well. And I'm starting to see already kind of that there's an opportunity for a new art form there to emerge, which is like very short films that are treated as fine art, and so are collected by collectors as NFTs, and that's the way that they are distributed and where they live essentially. But of course, there's been video art for very long, etc. But to me, this is very different, and it's gonna open the floodgates for a lot of new talent. I think we can see something like we've seen with photography in the last year, but I wouldn't say cinema. I would say like cinematography in this respect, right? Like short, more kind of DP work than director work. Maybe we'll see. I'm excited to see what happens.
It's the NFT film within the next, I'd say, 15 to 20 years. I see actual full feature length films being chopped up in like parts, say 5 to 10 parts, and each one of these parts will have different values, and these different sections will be traded just like you trade cryptocurrency. So that's where I see it going. So say for instance, Star Wars comes out and you buy the first episode of the NFT Star Wars, right? And that will be worth, say, it'll shoot up and it'd be worth like 15 grand. And people will be able to trade that, like, yeah, I got the Starseed, not Starseed, but Star Wars episode 1 is worth this amount, thinking about selling it. And people will be trading film like crypto. That's where I see it going. But who knows?
I think it's going to be sooner than that. Not 10, 15. I think it's going to be like, according to the article I read that Miguel said 2022 is the year of the NFT film. So it's going to be a lot much, because, you know, you think about it, crowdfunding. I mean, I helped a lot of filmmakers raise money on the crowdfunding campaign. And, you know, I came up with a whole bunch of really creative way of raising funds, and they were big projects. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, wow, this just, instead of the next Web3 NFT. It's really if you think about it, it's the collectors, the crowdfunding aspect of it. So you're actually crowd collecting. People, the crowd is collecting your work. So that's the whole idea of that. And with filmmaking, I mean, there's so many process. There's like the pieces that weren't used in the film. I mean, that's another NFT. I mean, you can sit there and cut every little besides just the film itself. It's really the behind the scene. I don't know about you guys, but I'd go see a movie and I wait until the end so I can see what's like behind the scene, because I think that's the best part, is the behind the scene. What are your thoughts, Miguel?
Sorry, come again.
I
missed the last part.
I said the best part of a film for me as a moviegoer is the behind the scene, the last piece. You watch the whole movie and then they show the behind the scene, how people are like joking or how they messed up.
Yeah.
Those pieces should be NFT.
I think there's so much opportunity to tokenize so many things during the pre-production and production of a film that it's insane. Everything that we're gonna be able to do. I keep saying this about how ways of returning value back to our backers, and it's like so this whole collection of 2,400 NFTs that has allowed us to raise over $230,000 already was all created from a 15-minute short film that I made before I ever heard the word NFT, and that's allowed me to create all of these NFTs and sell them to collectors who wanna collect it and support my work. So now imagine everything that I'm gonna be able to do in the next few months while creating the feature version of that short film. That's gonna be a lot longer and with a lot longer process and a lot longer filming. So there's gonna be so much content that I'm creating that offers opportunities of tokenization, and that may or may not be at some point going back to my collectors as a token of my appreciation.
Oh, that's so nice. Actually, what about that would be really nice. So will you be looking at tokenizing? I mean, you're doing the film, the NFT, but I see you making so many more upcoming movies and stuff. So would you be tokenizing it? Because with a token, you can have VIP party, pre-launch party, pre-screening, and swag bags. I mean, I'm still obsessed with the NFT swag bags. I think that's going to be an incredible thing.
Sorry, when I said tokenizing, I just meant turning into an NFT. And all of these things that you're saying are definitely possible even with the NFTs. Like Beam, for example, is already setting us up and is already allowing that. So tomorrow, if I wanted, we could create a screening only for the holders of this specific tier of my NFT. So that's very easy. Definitely something that we look at into doing. But then I was thinking of something else that you said. Sorry, I'm blanking here. Like there's so many stuff that we can do in the future, and as we make this film, and after we finished it, and I want to point out that in this respect, like the roadmap and the rewards that are laid out in the website that we're gonna give to our holders are just a starting point. So like that's what we are able to promise right now. But of course, there's gonna be opportunities for so much more that we can do in the future, and I'm so excited to find out what those are and to get them going. Like just this morning, I was thinking of something that would be pretty cool, because tomorrow there's the NFT Gateway drop by Xcopy, the famous crypto artist, and he's doing a thing where he's allowing his holders to decide whether they wanna burn or keep one of his pieces from a previous drop that he made in Nifty Gateway. That's called Afterburn. That's very iconic piece of him, and that was an open edition of 290 pieces or something. So now he's created new pieces, and he's saying, hey, if you burn an Afterburn and pay only $20, you'll get this other piece. But it's a lot of game theory. For example, it's like you have to submit your Afterburn and pay $20, and you enter into a raffle. And then only 100 people that do that, or only like 10 people, I don't know the number, sorry, but only X number of people will get the new piece, and at that point, their Afterburn will be burned. But otherwise, if you don't lose, your Afterburn doesn't get burned. So there's very cool things like that. So there's so much that we can do in the future. When we have the film and we have a lot of new material and assets, we could do something like that. Like say, you can choose whether you wanna exchange your still for a still of the feature film, for example. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud, but there's so much that we can do.
It's definitely an exciting time. Gina, did you want to open up the mic? We have about 15 minutes. Did you? I wanted you to. I want to ask some other questions too, but so do you like for example, Beam? I really love the Beam because we'll be working with them, but like in Decentraland, they're having like Fashion Week, Metaverse Fashion Week, and I think that's so cool. Do you picture yourself doing a gallery, like a red carpet, like a red carpet Metaverse, film screening?
Yeah, we've already done a couple of screenings of the short film in the Metaverse, and they were great. Jordan Bain hosted us for one of them at a great space that she has in the Central, and then Granting Wishes Cinema is the other project. They have a great little cinema in the Central. Sorry, both of those are crypto boxes, not the Central. Scrap that. And yeah, we also did one there, and that one is more similar to an actual cinema. So yeah, we'll definitely be doing more, and that's one of the things that is in the roadmap. So like in the perks, so we'll definitely do a Metaverse pre-premiere for our holders.
Before I open up the mics, I just want to say we have the Starseed Film and Music headquarters that will be opening up on May 3rd in Facebook Horizons, and we're going to have events and red carpets and things like that at the Starseed HQ on Facebook Horizons. So if you guys have an Oculus, you'll be able to tap in with us and hold events and hang out and stuff like that. So now let's open up this mic for questions. Anybody have any questions for Miguel?
So if anyone doesn't, I'm just going to continue talking. Then I have more questions to ask because I'm so intrigued with the NFTs financing the film, and because I just remember how excited people were when they were. Fernando is coming up when they were when back in the crowdfunding day, so for film. So now this is going to be, I don't know, the sky's the limit. So hey, Fernando, how are you?
I'm good. Hi, Tonya. How are you? I'm listening, and I was like, wow, so excited about everything what's happening in the film industry and NFT. Yeah. How are you? How are you guys doing? I'm impressed. Yes.
I'm great. And I know you're having internet issue because you're breaking in and out, but I'm so happy you're here.
Yes, me too. I'm taking internet from the station, big main station Zurich, and I was here and looking all this big place, what we can do here when we have to change. Uh,
Fernando, we can't hear you. It just seems like breaking in and out.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now better because before it was like in and out, in and out.
I'm sorry, it's not my internet, so it's maybe not working so perfectly.
So Fernando and I are working together on an NFT music concert project. So he's my talent scout. He's in Switzerland, so we're in the middle of setting all that stuff up too. So I just feel like the culture, the arts, everything about NFT is just happening. And then my friend Charlie's is in a space also, and I wanted to talk to She Cryptos. Oh my gosh, her film last night was incredible. I was trying to watch it, and then my hubby was streaming something else, and I was having issues with. So I hope that I can watch it on my own, because I really enjoyed it, and I love the way she shot it too. So, and then and I can't wait to watch Caladita film because So, when do you foresee us to be able? So, can we watch the? You're gonna be premiering on Beam too, the film, so we can watch it.
The short film is fully available on the website. You can watch it right now, whenever, and it's 15 minutes. The film hasn't been shot yet, so we will be able to screen it when we make it. We'll shoot in September, and so hopefully by the end of the year it will be ready, or maybe start of next year.
That'd be awesome to do it on New Year's Eve, right? Like, Oh, right before during the holidays. No, I think you should like try to have it done by before the holidays because everybody would want to buy. I think holidays people are going to start buying more NFTs. That's like everything else that they do. People are buying NFTs for their friends and family. I'm watching my friend. She told me she's a big tech person also, and she was like saying her hubby got her NFTs for their anniversary, and for her that was more exciting than what she got. Her big engagement ring. She was like, I'm more excited over the NFT than I am over my engagement ring. So I think that's the change of a lot of people, and I'm excited about your film, and I mean the all the different what is it, the, like even with the NFT and all that, but the holders can take the NFT and turn around and print it up in T-shirts and hats and bags. Am I correct, Miguel? So like they actually, when they own a piece of your NFT, they can turn around and use it to print up different type of collateral for themselves.
In our case, I mean, for themselves, yeah, for sure. But it's not like a Bored Ape where you have commercial rights and you can print it on a T-shirt and then sell it or whatever you want because the art still has copyright. But in terms of for their own enjoyment, yeah, for sure. Please go ahead. We'd love to for people to do that.
Yeah, because like so for the film, is it the smart contract is different, right, for the NFT project? Or is it this? How's
Sorry, I'm not
that's
sure.
the one part I haven't gotten a chance to. So in the smart contract, because I look at all NFT project, there's always a smart contract. I'm sure much. I'm gonna have to research more about the as far as the NFT for NFT films are concerned. What is it? The same type of contract that you guys have to utilize, or how does that work?
But I think you might be confusing the terms. The smart contract governs the way that the tokens are issued, etc. But that doesn't govern the legal aspect of what rights come with the NFT or not. It's called a contract, but that's misleading. That has to be specified further, either in terms of conditions or in description. So, for example, so when you sell an NFT period, you are only selling a token. You're not granting any additional rights to the holder. So it's similar to selling a painting. If Picasso sells a painting, you're not allowed to bring that painting into a T-shirt and then sell it wherever you want, etc. You're just allowed to exhibit it, and you're not even able to exhibit it, to charge for people to exhibit. That's a separate license. So in the case of the NFTs, it's similar. But then some projects, like for example, Board Yacht Club, if they specifically say to the holders, "Hey, look, we allow you to have commercial rights and to use your ape with these certain limitations for however you want," then it's up to them. They can do that. Or some other projects do CC0, like Cryptodes, for example, or Nouns, which is where the artist that created the work renounces all copyright, because copyright and IP rights are negative rights. So it means that they prevent anyone from being able to use your rights because you own them inherently as an artist when you created the work. But then as an artist, you can also say, "Hey, I waive all of my rights for this work. So then I give it to the public domain. It's CC0, do whatever you want." And in that case, both the holder and anyone else can do whatever they want, both print in a T-shirt or do a derivative or whatever.
That's the one part of the NFTs that I haven't had a chance to really study. I'm friends with the guys who do all kind of that understand a lot more, and they code it and they do all that stuff. So I haven't. I'm more of the PR girl, but I just always wonder like I have people giving me their like because I promote a lot of NFT projects, so I have the bees. So I am going to print some for myself. I'm not selling anything. I'm not going to sell my NFT either, but I want to wear T-shirts that has, because really when you go to a movie, you buy T-shirts to wear the movie. I mean, I have a collection of different movies that I've gone to that I bought T-shirts for. So that's what I was trying to ask you. Like,
but those T-shirts you bought from, normally you buy them because someone, like the company, licensed the rights to someone to be able to make T-shirts with the poster of the film, something like that. But yeah, for me, I'm super happy for anyone to make a T-shirt for themselves. Yeah, I'm just saying that in principle, the rights that are conveyed with the artwork are not that you are able to for example, you get an NFT from Caladita. If imagine, I don't know, someone has a brand of T-shirts and then they get a Caladita still from the collection, and they print it on a T-shirt and they sell 1 million T-shirts online. That's not allowed. I mean, in my project or in any project, really, unless it's specified properly and disclosed from the beginning, like Bordy Piaccia, for example.
I think somebody came in here with a question. Lord B.
Hi, Lord B.
Hey, Tonya. I've not spoken to you for ages. Where have you been?
I've been trying to build websites. I have 7 websites to finish. Like one of them is the Virtual Film Festival websites. How you been? I miss your space because it's so much fun.
I've been cool. I've got a new pain relief device that my best friend got me, which has worked wonders in the last 2 weeks. Seriously.
So we'll have to talk about it on my health segment. But we're actually here today. It's a Virtual Film Festival, so we have Miguel Faus is here, and we're talking about his film that he is actually funding it through NFTs. So Caladita Film is the Twitter handle. So we have about 4 minutes left, but I really do love. Did she crypto leave? I really wanted her to come up here too, because I wanted to ask her some question also. But I was hoping the our Beam people, Miguel and them, would be here, but I guess something came up. Geno?
Guess so.
Okay. So I wanted to say thank you so much, Miguel, for being here. Did you want to have any closing thoughts for us? Because this is exciting. I can't wait. Like, I'm excited for you. I'm going to be following you, sharing your content, because this is wow. That's all I have to say.
Well, thank you so much for hosting me and for those kind words. Yeah, if if anyone in the audience wants to support the future of cinema, then hop onto our website and mint one of our NFTs and collect a piece of film history or NFT film history in order to back our project Calladita. And that's all I have to end with. Thank you so much for hosting me and for everyone for listening.
We appreciate you for stopping by, and like I like to do at the end of every film festival, present our guest with the Hall of Fame Gold Movie ticket. We'll be getting that to you, and just man, keep doing your thing. Well wishes with everything you do, and I'm definitely a fan. We'll be watching, brother.
Thank you so much.
Thanks everybody for coming out.
Yes, thank you everyone for being here. But if anyone that knows any filmmaker that is involved in NFTs that would love to be featured in our weekly virtual film festival, please DM myself, Starseed, or Geno. We'd love to feature you. And now next week we have Beam, right? We're going to be talking about Beam and the platform.
Yeah, we have Beam next week talking about what we're doing.
Very cool. So everybody have a great day, and I feel like I'm like hoping that they pop up because I want to talk to them today. But if not, we'll just talk in a DM.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Bye, everybody.